Okay, so getting back into our coverage over the Destiny of X era of X-Men comics, we do pick up with X-Men issue number 24. Now, here's the thing, because this is kind of like a prelude for the Hellfire Gala event that is coming up very soon, the third Hellfire Gala event. And the reason why we know that, because we do pick up with young Cable. Now remember, at the very beginning of Dawn of X, we had the young Cable that kind of stuck around the present day to help out the present day mutants achieve greatness. Now, when it came to young Cable, unfortunately, fans did not like him that much. And so they brought old school Cable back and sent new school Cable back into the future to handle different kinds of problems. Now, apparently, he came back in time in this book to handle a new kind of problem. And that problem is apparently something big about to happen at the Hellfire Gala event. And apparently that problem is going to happen because of Orchis. Now remember, Orchis was a new group that was made at the very beginning of Dawn of X. And they were made to be a new bad guy group that wanted to get rid of the mutant race. And currently, not just the mutant race, but also other heroes as well. But apparently, they're going to do something big at that event. And so when it came to Cable, young Cable, he came back in time to make sure that they will not be able to actually achieve that. Unfortunately, though, as soon as he arrives, he is actually ambushed by different members of Orchis. And just like that, young Cable is taken out. He was unable to accomplish the goal that he was trying to accomplish. Now we do jump over to Destiny. Now when it comes to Destiny, we have to remember that she has the ability to see possible futures. Now sometimes she can see certain futures that are going to for sure happen, but a lot of times they're just possibilities. You never know if they do or if they won't. Either way, when it comes to Destiny, she has been seeing one vision over and over again, where she believes a huge war is coming very soon. And if this war comes, people are going to choose sides. And so when it comes to Rogue, her daughter, she wants Rogue on her side. Because remember, when it came to Mystique and Destiny, they adopted Rogue back in the early days of Marvel Comics. And so this is Destiny trying to be like this protective mother, but at the same time wants to make sure that Rogue does choose the right side to make sure the war does come out in the correct way. The problem is, though, she's not telling Rogue everything she saw in this vision, not giving Rogue all the details she needs to know to help Rogue decide if she does need to choose Destiny's side. Now we have to jump over to Game World. Now remember, Game World was this place in the middle of space where you were technically able to gamble on different kind of situations that are happening across the universe on different planets. So for example, let's say Earth is about to go to war against another alien race. If you said, I bet money that the heroes of Earth will survive, you won. Or if you say, I bet the heroes of Earth are going to fail, then again, you win money. It all comes down on your bet. Now, the reason why we're jumping over to Game World, because they sent out a distress call because somebody is basically causing some problems there. And that would be Pog. Now, when it comes to Pog, he's a very interesting character. Matter of fact, we met him in the early parts of X of Swords. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to Pog, he's just here to give us a lot of action. That's really it. And so you do have our heroes try their best to fight against him. And of course, it does last for a few pages. And once our heroes are able to calm him down, but to also tell us that there was a creature inside the bigger version of this creature, we kind of move on to the next big thing, which is Cyclops and Jean Grey's relationship. This is where things get very interesting. Because when it came to the last few X-Men books that we have covered, we kind of got the hint that these two characters might be breaking up, but on top of that, Jean Grey might be leaving the X-Men team completely. And the reason why, because they have different opinions on what they should be doing when it comes to the mutant race. And what I mean by that is Jean Grey is very upset about the idea that Cyclops has never been on Arakko. Jean Grey really did help out when it came to turning Mars into a planet where mutants can live on away from Earth. And when it came to Cyclops, he never been on Arakko. And she's kind of like, why? And for Cyclops, the problem is though, because if we're doing that right there, we just gave the human race an invitation to basically kick us off Earth. Because now you're telling the humans that we are going to leave Earth and go to Mars. And they have won their battle. They have won the battle for the planet of Earth. And that's Cyclops' problem right there. Because his game plan is to kind of build that relationship between humans and mutants to bring both parties together. But if you have mutants going over to Mars away from Earth, you are telling humans, fine, we give up. We'll go over here, y'all stay here, and that's it. And for Cyclops, that is not okay. But at the same time, it feels like they're at war right now when it comes to the humans. And so even if the mutants go to Mars, what are the chances that humans are going to leave us alone? That's the problem right there for Cyclops. And so for Cyclops saying, we got to stay here. We got to fight this war that is possibly coming very soon. And matter of fact, he even brings up an example of what happened in the earlier book that we had covered, a Stark Sentinel that was made by Stark Tech that almost wiped out this entire X-Men team so easily. And so what if they are able to make more of those right there? We're screwed. And right now, we have to stay here to kind of say mutants and humans deserve to live together in harmony. That's the end goal right there, not us going away to Mars. And so you have Jean Grey listen, but again, she disagrees with Cyclops. And so she says, I'm leaving the X-Men and I'm also going away from you right now. And so it's not an official breakup, but it is her saying goodbye to the X-Men. Now, we do see Jean Grey go back over to the treehouse. Now remember, the treehouse is technically the base for the X-Men team. Now, the reason why to check up on Polaris. Now, when it comes to Polaris, she's still dealing with the idea of Magneto dying. Her father died. As a matter of fact, when it came to Magneto's death, that took place back in Act's Judgment Day event. And so we never really got the chance to sit down and see how Polaris is dealing with the death of her father. Because remember, when it came to that storyline right there, we were told if he dies or Storm dies, there's no backup for these two characters, meaning that they would not be able to come back to life. And so when it came to Magneto, when he died by Uranus, it was kind of like, okay, he's dead, and unfortunately we have to move on. But we never sat down and say, hey, how is Polaris doing? And of course, she's not doing good at all. She lost her father. But then we have to pick up with Sunfire and also Magic. Now, when we do, you have the two characters about to teleport over to Otherworld. And the reason why? Because Sunfire was assigned a job to find a person known as Redroot. Now, when it came to Redroot, she was kind of like Cypher, being the voice for Arakko. Because Arakko and Krakoa, they speak a language that most people are unable to actually speak. Now, Cypher had the ability to talk to Krakoa because his ability is to talk to anybody, no matter the language, across the entire universe. When he came to Treeroot, she was able to talk to Arakko, but she got stuck in Otherworld. And so when it comes to Magic, she's going to teleport her and Sunfire into Otherworld to drop him off. The problem is, though, when they go through the process, something happens. They don't fall so easily into Otherworld. At first, they go through some kind of abyss, some huge black area, dark area, and then they're able to teleport into Otherworld. And when they come to Sunfire, he's wondering what's going on with Magic's powers. And she said, hey, you know what? Maybe because it's Otherworld and their magic is a tad bit different than other kind of magic, it most likely threw my powers off a tad bit, but don't worry, you're here, so go ahead and do your job and I'll see you here in 1 week. Now, to close on today's video, we do pick up months later in Otherworld, where we do pick up with Sunfire. Now, when we do, Sunfire has aged a lot, but it does seem like he's about to die very soon. And he's also trying to carry Redroot somewhere. Now, here's the thing, because it looks like he is about to die, and so is Redroot. But apparently, if they die, something big is about to come down the road. And of course, this leads us into the fall of X. And so this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.